This is Cyclocross Magazine here with Cory Lafleur. He has an interesting story to tell. He's actually one of the proud owners of River Point Cyclocross Park.
We started it, my wife and I, Melissa. We run it, we formed it. We actually have a couple really good people, and I do want to give a quick shout out to Bobby Stein. Bobby Stein rides for the New England Specialty Sports team. He's been one of these guys that carves trails at like Big River and Arcadia for years and years, and we couldn't be doing what we're doing without him. So, the town of West Warwick gave us permission to turn what used to be they called it the Donald Rock River Walk. Sort of went along the river for about a mile and a half. 18 years ago, they stopped keeping up on it. All the nice touches they had, tables, grills, all that was destroyed. You know, everything grew in, and there were tons of trees across the path. But living right across the street, we'd seen it, and we knew we could do something with it, especially after coming back from Louisville 2 years ago. It was like the same setup.
You did most of the work during the summertime. How was it trying to revamp that park?
It was like carving a cyclocross park out of like in the Suez Canal area. You know, it's like mosquitoes everywhere, bee stings. But it's worthwhile work. If we would have gotten permission in writing from the town maybe a little earlier, we could have started maybe a little earlier. But once we got that permission, we knew we had to move, regardless of the heat, regardless of whatever else. It had to be done.
Can you tell us a little bit about the course and its current condition?
Again, River Point Park is a relatively big park. It's got 4 or 5 baseball fields. It's got a soccer field or 2. There are brand new tennis courts. But what I did is I sort of convinced the town that cyclocross doesn't need, fields. We need the land outside the field. So I promised them that we wouldn't be riding over the ball fields, and it sort of gave us free rein to do what we wanted with the rest of the course.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've cleared out what used to be the river walk, and they're all little dips that go down towards the water and back out to the main course. There was a section of granite steps that hadn't been used or even seen in 15 years or more. We had to chop those out so that now you can use the granite steps as a run-up from the bottom part of the course up to the top, to upper ball fields. And we have a mixture of everything. We have a mixture of the top half of the course is really, field stuff, irregular, wide sweeping turns. But then we have 3 or 4 what people are referring to as Euro shoots, and they really are. They're pretty steep drop-offs, 90-degree turns at the bottom. Some are tricky, and when people get there, they're like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but after riding a couple of times, they are. We have natural sand, we have wooded sections, and the work's never done. We're always finding new stuff to work on. It's going to be years in the making.
Can you tell us, what are your plans for this course over the next 5 years? Where would you like to see this go?
Again, when I watch cyclocross on the computer, I see glimpses of what we already have. I know we have a very Eurocentric course. Being in the States, we sort of build courses wherever we get permission to. We're very fortunate to have a place that's really ours, that the town's given us to use, and I don't think they're ever going to take it back on us. That really, reminds us of some courses we see from Belgium. And I think once people start hearing about River Point Cyclocross Park and actually checking it out, it's going to become a pretty fast fan favorite. What I see is, obviously, a race there once, maybe twice a year, and eventually possible UCI racing.
What's the most fun about maintaining and organizing a park?
Maybe it's just my enthusiasm because it just started, but I actually find that I like to work at the park more than train. I've given up, I don't know how many days of training or hours of training to be down there with a weed whacker and snips to cut out brush and everything else. It's very rewarding. You spend 2 hours down there with a couple friends. You carve out a new trail or maybe riding out an older one. You go home and you feel like you saw something done that day. You treat yourself to a beer.
Anything else you'd like to tell our audience about the course?
We are having a race coming up soon. It's actually going to be called Scrub Zone Nationals. It takes place on the same day as Nationals down in Texas. It's for anybody that has no chance of getting UCI point. Their goals are, tickling the top 50% of their field. It's very cheap. It's $20, so it's that Sunday, January 11th, Scrub Zone Nationals. My wife has put together a Facebook. It's already up on Bike Reg. And it's going to be fun, but really it's a way to get people down to the park and show them what's going to be coming in the future.
All right. Hey, thanks so much for your time, Cory.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.